Thank you for attending the Cannabis Investor Webcast. We would like to thank our sponsors, Naturally Splendid Enterprises Limited, stock symbol NSPDF. Pazoo Incorporated, stock symbol PZOO. MyDex Incorporated, MYDX. CLS Holdings USA Incorporated, CLSH, Americanex Corporation, and Technical420.com. We would like for you to reserve the date May 23rd through May 25th, 2016 to attend the Cannabis Publicly Traded Companies Investor, Analyst, and Media Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. Our presenter today is David Kunick, CEO of PZOO Incorporated.
Well, thank you everyone for attending today and for taking the time out of your day to listen to myself and learn a little bit more about PZOO. Once again, my name is David Kunick. I am the CEO and one of the original co-founders of PZOO Incorporated. Before we get started, I'm just going to go over just a quick recap of what PZOO is. PZOO Incorporated is a company focused on health and wellness and safety. Our focus is to provide the best-in-class laboratory testing of cannabis to protect consumers from impurities, contaminants, and heavy metals. And we achieve this through our wholly owned subsidiary companies, Harris Lee, as well as MA & Associates. And we achieve our testing through our license agreements with Steep Hill Labs to use Steep Hill's top-rated testing protocols in select markets as we expand throughout the U.S. PZOO subsidiary companies are currently licensed to test cannabis in Nevada, Oregon, and Colorado, with more states to come. We also provide non-hemp related products and services through our wholly owned subsidiary company, Cannabis King Distribution. And last but not least, PZOO also delivers a comprehensive array of health and wellness information on our website, pazoo.com. What we're going to discuss today, briefly, is a great opportunity and really to show people the top 4 reasons why we are different in the testing lab sector. You're going to see by the end of the presentation how we have our partnership with the world's largest cannabis testing lab network. You're going to see how we have a best-in-class management team that expands numerous decades with very diverse backgrounds, which really brings everything together. We also have the exclusive use of Steep Hill's testing lab methodology, and you'll hear me say this throughout the presentation, but really this is a ground floor investment opportunity due to our early stage aggressive growth and expansion. And when it comes to testing, whether you're for it or against it, when it comes to cannabis, it needs to be tested, and mandatory testing is going to be everywhere. It's just inevitable. These next few slides just go over the management team. I'm not going to really take the time to review that right now. When this gets posted on YouTube, you can take a look at it. The one person I do want to point out is at the very top, which is Steve Baslow, who's the president of PZOO, and he's also the chairman of the board. Our Harris Lee management team, and Harris Lee is our testing labs throughout the country. And our MA & Associates management team, which is our testing labs located in Las Vegas, Nevada. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of everything, I just kind of want to just really show people how explosive this market really is. As of right now, 23 states have either medical and/or recreational use for marijuana, including Washington, D.C. And what a lot of people don't realize is actually 35 states and Washington, D.C. also allow CBD laws, which is the healing part of the cannabis plants. And what we've really come to understand in states that have medical and/or recreational marijuana is they're seeing a reduction in crime, they're seeing a good increase in state tax revenue, as well as they're seeing a reduction in law enforcement and administrative costs. This is one of the reasons why this industry is growing so quickly, because it has so many benefits to it. As I mentioned, why this is such a great opportunity and exploding market is because we do have a great partnership with Steep Hill Labs. Many people in the cannabis sector have heard of Steep Hill Labs because they're known as a global leader in cannabis testing and analytics. They've been around since 2008, and from our understanding, they've actually been the longest running testing lab of the cannabis plant in the U.S. Pretty much what they do is that they provide the proper infrastructure and analytical services so that the cannabis plant is safe for the end user. A question I get asked a lot is how good is our relationship with Steep Hill? And you'll find out over the next few slides how great our relationship is with them, how we are in communication with them on a constant basis, and both parties are very happy with our relationship, so much so that they have granted us the first right of refusal to open up testing labs all throughout America. So there's 4 pillars to Pazoo. When it comes to Pazoo, what really makes us unique is that we've really positioned the company where we have 4 wholly owned subsidiary companies, with Pazoo being the parent company, therefore making sure that the shareholder reaps all the benefits from the revenues from all 4 of these avenues. PZOO.com is actually our health and wellness website. And this is how Pazoo originally was formed. PZOO.com actually produces health and wellness articles for people, but also for their pets, as majority of Americans have a dog or a cat and treat them just like a family member. And when it came to the marijuana testing lab sector, it goes hand in hand with health and wellness, because whether you're for it or against it, cannabis needs to be tested. And recently on PZOO.com, we've actually added some new website advisors to help capture even more of the market, as well as we're going to be using a new agency to capture even more unique visitors, which will translate to ad revenue on PZOO.com. And in addition, the website has actually brought many new shareholders to the market. Now, Harris Lee LLC is our marijuana testing lab facility, our company, where we can open up a testing lab anywhere in the U.S. outside the state of Nevada. The reason I mention outside the state of Nevada is due to MA and Associates, which is our 3rd wholly owned subsidiary company. Pazoo originally got into the marijuana sector, marijuana lab testing sector, through MA and Associates, located in Las Vegas, Nevada. The way the contracts are written, just so everyone is clear, MA and Associates will never open up a lab outside the state of Nevada, and Harris Lee will never open up a test lab inside the state of Nevada. So both companies are protected, and when you go back and you look at the management team, you'll see that the management team has some of the same people for Harris Lee as well as MA and Associates. And the 4th pillar of Pazoo, which gets us all very excited, is our newest company, Cannabis King Distribution. This was a company based out of demand from other vendors in the marijuana sector. From going to many conferences and doing many road shows, people are very familiar with the Steep Hill name, and the fact that we have the exclusivity of the first right of refusal to use Steep Hill's technology all throughout the country. People started to ask us, what products would you recommend? What products would you recommend for growers? What products would you recommend for dispensaries? And that's how Cannabis King Distribution really was founded, because we do sell products such as antimicrobials, vaporizers, water conservation products, but I'll go over all that in a little bit. And overall, with these 4 pillars, it's very important for the common shareholder to know, because they will all be able to benefit from all these pillars in the near future. So let's talk where we are right now in the testing lab sector. MA and Associates is our testing lab out in Las Vegas, Nevada. When we did our statewide licensing process, we actually scored a 241 out of 250, and no other applicant scored higher than 180, which really shows how we're levels above and beyond our competitors. As of right now, MA and Associates should be testing and producing revenues in the 4th quarter, which is obviously right around the corner. And as I've actually mentioned in previous press releases, we have several letters of intent for growers committed to test their product with us. And the size of these grows combined is over 150,000 square feet. In addition, one of these contracts for the grow space is about 70,000 square feet, and they have committed to use our services for the next 2 years. Now, outside the state of Nevada, we use Harris Lee for our company for our testing labs. Harris Lee, Colorado is actually taking over a pre-existing lab that's already generating revenue. All the proper paperwork is complete for the transfer of the license from the current lab over to Harris Lee, Colorado. The last aspect of this transfer is to go in front of the Marijuana Enforcement Division of Colorado, or MED for short, to approve the transfer. And Harris Lake, Colorado has already has a date for this appointment, which is October 14th, which is just over 30 days away, and we're still in the process of trying to move that date up. Once the MAD approves the transfer, Harris Lake, Colorado becomes revenue generating. In terms of Oregon, what has happened there is that our build-out will begin very shortly. The building that we selected actually requires very little build-out. And with the help of Steep Hill and our contacts with Cannabis King Distribution, we've actually already secured several growers to test their product upon us being operational. What's really key here with Harris Lee and MA & Associates is Cannabis King Distribution. Because the labs we are not running yet, Cannabis King Distribution has actually opened up many doors with manufacturers, with growers, with dispensaries, and has led to us with several more letters of intent, as well as commitments from growers to have us test their products. Now, where are we going next year? By the middle of next year, our main goal is to be in 3 more states. By being in 3 more states, as well as having Nevada, Colorado, and Oregon up and operational, that will really give PZOO the largest footprint in the testing lab sector for marijuana in the U.S. And what's really key and what's really important when it comes to Harris Lee is that we hold the right of first refusal from Steep Hill for the use of Steep Hill's methodology in the U.S. where Steep Hill decides not to open up a testing lab. That is very key and very important to our growth plans, that we have secured that relationship with Steep Hill and we have secured that first right of refusal because it has really put us above our competitors. Now, during the 4 pillars, I talked about PZOO.com, I talked about Harris Lee, I talked about MA & Associates, and now I'm going to talk about Cannabis King Distribution. As of right now for Cannabis King Distribution, we sell 4 products: AccuVape, which is a vaporizer, MJ Payments, which is an effective payment and banking solution for people in the marijuana sector that deal mainly with cash, Green Valve, which we actually just announced the other day through a press release, which is a water conservation product, and Pure Grow, which is an antimicrobial cleaning product which kills mold, mildew, and other harmful bacteria. Over the last month, we have done actually numerous press releases on Cannabis King, because Cannabis King Distribution has really become another source of revenue for PZOO, and it really shows how proactive we're being while we're still developing the testing labs. A question that's been brought up to me is that people asking the potential business or the potential revenue for 2016 with Cannabis King. And I just want to touch base on that real quick. It's actually the amount of gross revenue we produce in the 4th quarter of this year will actually help determine our projections for next year. I mentioned this on Money TV a few weeks ago, how we're actually only scratching the surface with Cannabis King, and we actually will be adding additional products in the very near future. If I had to estimate right now for 2016 our gross revenue, it'd be inappropriate for me to do so. And there's several reasons for that. The first is AccuVape, that we're selling that product left and right. And first-time buyers have a 90% reorder rate, which many vendors will increase the size of their previous purchase order. And we actually just did a press release about this, saying how we've actually increased our accounts and people are starting to reorder their sales. For MJ Payments, they're in the process of completing the last few steps, but we already have several commitments per state for several states to use MJ Payments. In terms of Green Valve, we already have several. In terms of Green Valve, we actually have several appointments already set up and people interested in using this water conservation product. And in addition, we're also in contract talks with several more products. People ask about Cannabis King Distribution if there's a large increase in overhead costs. And to answer that, it really depends on how quickly Cannabis King grows. And only then will additional staff be hired. As of right now, our sales reps for the testing labs are actually selling Cannabis King products. And we also have several reps in other states working solely on commission, thus keeping our overhead down. And once again, as I mentioned on Money TV a few weeks ago, I caution all shareholders and potential shareholders not to take Cannabis King for granted, as we're only scratching the surface, and it will become another revenue source for PZOO. And what this shows, and what Cannabis King shows to the public and shows everyone, is that we're being proactive here at PZOO. We're not just sitting around here and waiting for the labs to open. We're going to produce additional revenue sources in the meantime. Now, I've gone over PZOO.com. I've gone over how about Harris Lee, which is our testing labs outside the state of Nevada, MA and Associates, which is our testing lab in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Canvas King Distribution. What I want to bring up is some of the major achievements we have literally achieved this year, and it's only in the first 7 to 8 months. When people compare us to other companies, we believe here at PZOO that the valuation of the company is highly undervalued when compared to our main competitors and what their stock prices are currently at. One needs to remember that we just went into the marijuana sector less than a year ago, and there's a high barrier cost to enter this marijuana sector, and even higher level cost when entering the lab. So let's go over this year what we've already achieved so far. I'm not a big believer in reading slides verbatim, but this is one slide that I'm really going to emphasize on. So achievement number 1, PZOO acquired 100% interest of Harris Lee. And once again, as I mentioned, this is a medical marijuana testing company formed to take the MA Associates model to other states outside of Nevada. Achievement number 2, Harris Lee entered into a master agreement with Steep Hill to give Harris Lee the exclusive Steep Hill right to operate testing lab in Oregon, plus the right of first refusal in other states throughout the United States. Achievement number 3, Harris Lee signs a binding letter of intent to acquire the existing revenue-generating Steep Hill testing lab in Denver, Colorado. Achievement number 4, PZOO forms another wholly owned subsidiary company, Cannabis King Distribution. Achievement number 5, PZOO acquired 100% interest of MA and Associates. Achievement number 6, PZOO signs an official agreement with Front Range Labs, a licensee of Steep Hill located in Denver, Colorado, to acquire a pre-existing revenue-generating testing lab. Achievement number 7, our wholly owned subsidiary company, Cannabis King Distribution, signs 3 different companies to begin their product. And achievement number 8, PZOO signs an official lease agreement to begin the build-out of Portland, Oregon. We've been in this sector for less than a year, and look what we've achieved so far. Between having the first right of refusal in the U.S. and there being 3 states that are heavy players in the marijuana sector, we have really set the roadmap for success. Okay? We've achieved all this in such a short period of time. And I cannot stress this slide enough to see what has been accomplished. And this goes back to our very first slide, how this is an opportunity in an exploding market, how this is an opportunity for many people to get in on the ground floor investment opportunity due to our early stage and aggressive growth and expansion. So let's go over some lab operations, because one thing that people always want to know is a little more information about the lab and how the lab sector works in general. So some general lab information is that a grow can be as low as 3,000 square feet to all the way over 200,000 square feet. In general, though, an average lab is 6,000 to 20,000 square feet, which is a harvest that really will generate some substantial revenues. The first crop of the season usually takes about 90 days, and then the next crop takes about 55 days to grow. In general, there's about 4 to 5 crops per year. As I mentioned before, PZOO already has several letters of intent signed for Nevada to test growers' product, and one of these spaces is actually about 70,000 square feet. Also, through Cannabis King Distribution and doing our sales out in Colorado, Harris Lee, Colorado has already secured commitments from growers, extract companies, cultivators, and manufacturers, which we really feel and anticipate will double our revenue within 69 days upon taking over the Denver facility. And once again, remember, the last part taking over the Denver facility is our MED appointment, which is October 14th, which is just over 30 days away. And a key last part is, what is the cost per test? And this kind of varies from state to state, but it averages from $50 to $150 per test. What's key to know is that multiple tests are needed per sample, and there's actually a built-in significant gross margin. So let's go over the states that we're in right now, which is Nevada, Colorado, and Oregon. For Nevada, it's very key and important to know that we were actually rated the #1 testing lab during the statewide licensing process. A 241 out of 250 we achieved. The next highest competitor did not score over 180. On top of that, too, Nevada is one of 4 states that currently mandates marijuana testing. Oregon mandates testing, as well as Colorado, and those are the states that we're going into. And Nevada really is becoming the pioneer state. They're having the most stringent testing regulations. And what they have done in Nevada is that for every 5 pounds of marijuana that is grown, that requires a testing to be done. So every 5 pounds that a grower grows, they send MA and Associates out in Las Vegas, a small sample of that, to be tested to make sure it passes all the rules and regulations. Because a lot of people don't realize there's actually over 400 chemicals in the cannabis plants. Now, what are we exactly going to be testing for in Nevada? We're going to be testing for potency, for terpenes, for pesticides, mycotoxins, solvents, and microbiology testing. People also want to know why we're so excited about opening up a lab in Las Vegas. And one of these main reasons is that in the fall of 2016, on the ballot for legalization is the legalization of marijuana. Also, people would like to usually know what our primary selling radius is for our Las Vegas lab, and that's 150 miles. However, we've gotten inquiries from people all throughout the state. In terms of Colorado, what's really key is the market is growing by about over 30% every year. What's also really important is that there's already 4.5 million square feet of cultivation and manufacturing in Colorado. 4.5 million. That is phenomenal. When you compare this to Las Vegas, in Las Vegas, they're predicting about up to 2 million square feet of grow within the first year, year and a half. Another key point when it comes to Colorado is, once again, the facility in Colorado has been generating revenue and has been up and running for over 17 months. The final step of the transfer of the license from Front Range Labs to Harris Lee, Colorado, is our MED appointment, which is on October 14th. Out in Colorado, we're going to be testing for potency. We'll be doing batch testing on concentrates and edibles. We'll also be doing residual solvent analysis for concentrates and more. And our primary selling area is actually 150 miles radius, but we will be selling throughout the state. And what's interesting is within the 150-mile radius, there's actually over 300 grows in that area. So the market is there for increasing our business immediately. For Oregon, it's legal for both medical and recreational marijuana, as Measure 91 was just passed. What gets us really excited about Oregon is how they were not going to allow the selling of recreational marijuana till October of 2016. However, they actually moved up that date to October of 2015. So that's literally less than a month away, which gets us very excited about building our lab out in Oregon. What's also key out there is some people actually like to see what the breakdown is of the tax revenue. And as it shows here on the side, the percentages of the breakdown of where the tax revenue will go to in the state of Oregon. Out in Oregon, we'll be testing for pesticides, molds, mildew, as well as cannabinoids as well too. And right now, our primary selling area will be about 120,000, about 120-mile radius, and we'll be selling throughout the state though. And what's really important when it comes to all 3 of these states is the following: is that multiple tests will be done on the samples. And remember, the tests range from $50 to $150 per test, but multiple tests will be done. I know I've gone over quickly about PZOO, about PZOO.com, Harris Lee, MA & Associates, and Cannabis King Distribution. As I mentioned before, we have achieved 8 major milestones, all in this year. And what has occurred with that is, excuse me one second, because we've achieved these 8 major milestones in such a short period of time, and we have aggressively grown in this sector, and we've also gotten a partnership with the world's largest cannabis testing lab network. We've grown so quickly. This page summarizes what we have done and where we currently are with all of PZOO. So in the state of Nevada, as I mentioned, PZOO has 100% ownership of MA and Associates, and we are projected to be fully operational by November of this year. For Oregon, it's 100% owned by Harris-Lee, which is a wholly-owned subsidiary of PZOO, and we have the exclusive steep-fill testing rights for our Oregon lab. That lab is scheduled to be open by the late fourth quarter of this year. For Colorado, as already been mentioned, Harris-Lee Colorado has executed an agreement to acquire the existing steep-fill revenue-generating lab in Colorado. The last parts are just to transfer the ownership, and as I mentioned, that meeting occurs on October 14th. When it comes to the other states, what is key to remember and to keep in the back of your mind is that Harris-Lee has already acquired the exclusive right of first refusal to implement steep-fill technology and to also use steep-fill's analytics in other states all throughout the U.S. The big X factor right now is Cannabis King distribution. Once again, this company was formed out of demand in the industry, where people were coming to us asking us what products they would have us recommend, and then other vendors were coming to us asking if we would sell and distribute their products for them. We have sales reps in Nevada, Colorado, Oregon, Texas, and several more states, and with even more to come. And what's also key to remember is that Cannabis King's current product line also includes some of the steep-fill products. So it's another outlet source to get the steep-fill name out there and get the PZOO name out there. Last but not least, because we have grown so quickly in this sector, because we have the exclusive use of steep-fill labs, testing methodology, because it's a great opportunity to get on the ground floor. It's a phenomenal investment opportunity because of our early stage growth. We actually did a shareholder conference call back on August 26th, where the shareholders actually wrote in the questions and were able to ask the questions. If you want to, please write down the link below or go to PZOO.com and you can see the shareholder conference call. I would highly recommend you listen to it because it gets into more details about PZOO.com and Harris-Lee, M.A. & Associates, and Cannabis King distribution. Once again, thank you everyone for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I guess we'll be taking questions shortly.
Okay, David, the first question is, what do you feel is the next significant catalyst for PZOO?
The next significant catalyst for PZOO really is getting the transfer of the license for Harris-Lee, Colorado on October 14th. And we're trying to move up that date to be able to get that transfer and license, and to have Harris-Lee, Colorado start generating revenue right away. That's going to be a huge catalyst for us to show that what we can do. And I think the second catalyst is having our Las Vegas lab be fully operational. And the third catalyst, and I can't stress this enough, is just Cannabis King distribution. To see so many vendors coming to us saying, hey, here's a product. What do you think? Would you recommend it? Would you sell it out of any of your testing labs, or would you sell it in any of the other states you have your sales reps? We've done several press releases on it lately where it just really shows, hey, you know, we're bringing in revenue, and just MJ payments, the commitments we have from that once they're 100% operational, it's just a huge game changer for us.
Next question. So what is the difference between PZOO and competitors? I think is Can Labs one of your competitors?
We have several competitors, and in my opinion, it comes down to the technology, the methodology, and the analytics of steep-fill labs. Steep-fill has been studying the plant since 2008. They're from our knowledge and from our research, and also talking with steep-fill, they have been testing the cannabis plant for the longest period of time here in the U.S. And we knew we had a great product and a great service when we did our statewide testing license for Nevada. To get a 241 out of 250, and our next closest competitor didn't score higher than a 180, shows really what we have here. And that is what is key to really makes us different than our competitors. And then the other part is that we're in 3 key states: Nevada, Oregon, Colorado. Those are 3 heavy players. So to have a testing lab in those 3 states really separates us from our competition because it's an amazing footprint.
David, go ahead with your question.
Okay. Well, my first question is just a technical question. I've been told by some people that labs such as yours are required. This is one of these catch-22s to have a DEA Schedule 1 license in order to be able to work with these products and to obtain laboratory standards. Is that true? And if so, how do you get one? I'm very active. I'm an MD, PhD, very active in analytical testing in general. But I've been told that in order to be a certified laboratory, you need a Schedule 1 DEA license in order to handle the products that you are testing, and especially to obtain good standards for calibrating your methods and your equipment, etc. Is this true? And if so, how do you plan to get such a license?
It's a little bit of a trick question, David, because every state has different rules and regulations. And so I really can't give a blanket answer for that, because Nevada's standards and requirements for their license is different than Colorado, and it's different than Oregon as well also. As well as, example, like in Nevada, in order to be a lab in order to actually work in the lab and to work with the product, you have to have at least a master's degree and 2 years of laboratory experience already, or a bachelor's degree and a minimum of 4 years of experience in a lab, while Colorado has different standards. So I really can't answer that directly. So it's a great question, but every state has different rules and regulations for that.
Right. And my more important question is, do you have any plans in Illinois? Let me tell you the history here. Originally, it was thought that the state would hold a competition, as it has for cultivators and dispensaries, and would give licenses to particular laboratories to do the testing in the state. I was working very closely with Adam Mintz to promote his Smoke Steep Hill, and to with my consulting clients, which is a large network of cultivators and dispensaries, to help them negotiate exclusive testing contracts with Steep Hill, and also to figure out where they would locate up to 4 laboratories or places to receive samples.
David,
that has been complicated now by the state Department of Health not doing anything along those lines externally, but saying that they will first develop the technology within the Department of Health.
So Dave, I'm going to cut you off right there, because I've actually been in Chicago 3 times in August, and we had the conference out there. When it comes to moving into additional states, whether it's Illinois or any other state, first it has to make proper financial sense. It has to make sure that the industry is there, they have enough growers there, and there'll be enough product to test. The second part, to answer your question, is that the testing has to be mandated, and we want the rules and regulations set forth before we start that process.
Testing is mandated.
As of right now in Illinois, you guys are still coming up with your exact rules and regulations.
Right.
And so as of right now, is Illinois on the radar? Yes, it is. Are other states on the radar? Yes, they are. But that's why we work with our lobbyists, and we also find out what the rules and regulations when they're fully set. Because a great example is this, Nevada. We have our lab out in Nevada, and they thought they were going to give out the testing license 6 months earlier than they did. In Nevada, they are just now literally finalizing the last few rules and regulations. And we're actually MA and Associates. It's actually part of and it actually has a founders membership of the newly formed Nevada Lab Cannabis Association out there to help the state with those rules and regulations, because everyone thought that would be done several months ago, and it's been an ongoing process. So that's where we're at with Illinois as well as other states, is that we need everything firmed up with the rules and regulations that that get mandated?
Well, let's just say that the rules and regulations are already set in terms of the requirement. What's not set is how it's going to be carried out. And you probably know, if you have lobbyists and things in Illinois, you probably know more than I do about where it is and where it's going. So maybe we should take this offline at some point, and we can fill each other in on what we know here.
Yeah, if you go, you can always contact me at investor@pazoo.com. So please feel free to shoot me an email.
Well, thank you, David. We got to move on to the next question. For MJ Payments, how are you handling the federal regulations?
MJ Payments, we're actually an independent sales rep for MJ Payments. So actually, MJ Payments is actually dealing with the federal regulations for that. And the way their system is set up is that they will have a bank in each individual state. My recommendation is actually to contact, when it comes to handling the federal regulations for that, is actually contact MJ Payments directly. And if you need the main contact source there, once again, shoot me an email, and I'll get you the key person to talk to there.
Next question. You say you have first right of refusal on opening labs in the USA with Steep Hills Technology in the states that they are not going to open up in. What are Steep Hills expansion plans, and what sort of market share do you expect to capture?
Well, when it comes to the market share that we plan to capture, is as we mentioned, our plans to go into 3 more states next year. And I've mentioned this over the last few months on Money TV, Small Cap Voice, as also in our press releases as well too, is that we are in talks with several more states to open up a facility there. It just has to make financial sense, first off, and secondly, we also got to make sure all the rules and regulations are in there. When it comes to Steep Hill's expansion plans, I cannot speak for Steep Hill. What I can say is that Steep Hill already had a licensee out in Colorado that we're now taking that over. Steep Hill is having us do the testing out in Oregon, and obviously us in Nevada. And those are 3 heavy states and key players in the states. And by Steep Hill giving Harris Lee the first right of refusal for all the states they choose not to go into, I think it's kind of safe to say, to put 2 and 2 together, that Steep Hill is not going to be going into a plethora of states, which is why they're partnering up with us.
Okay, this next question, David, is a 2-part question. Let me see if I could break it up. As a percentage of business, which of the states currently in Nevada, Colorado, and Oregon, which would be your biggest, state as far as business is concerned?
Okay. 2-part answer for that. The immediate answer is Colorado, because once again, it's already generating revenue. It's been up and running for over 17 months. So that would be my immediate response to that. But overall, looking at our projections, it would be Nevada. So because Nevada has the most stringent testing out there, and it's for every 5 pounds that you grow it that needs to be tested, and there's numerous tests that need to be tested per sample.
Okay, and in the second part of this question, and I don't know if you can answer this, the states that it is not, legal yet, as far as legislation is concerned, what state would probably be, and I don't know if you can answer this question, what state would probably be the largest, the state with the most revenues or most business that you guys look forward to entering that market?
Well, once again, 2-part answer. The first part would be Oregon, because they're passing up the sale of recreational marijuana a year in advance. Colorado already has medical and recreational, and we're in there. But what really gets me excited is Las Vegas. To sit here and to have a test lab in Las Vegas, to knowing that it's already on the ballot for next year to pass the legalization, and the way the polls show right now is that it's in a huge favor to pass the legalization of marijuana. So we're already in 3 great markets: Colorado, recreational and medical, already have it. Oregon just passed recreational, so that'll be recreational as well as medical. And Las Vegas already has medical, and within the next 2 years, it's going to have recreational. So we feel very confident where we're at right now, and that's where we're very happy to be in these 3 states. And all 3 of the states mandate testing as well, too.
Last question. As far as new states, who do you think is the next 2 or 3 that probably would legalize?
I don't know. I don't know on that. As I tell people, this goes back to one of the early slides. Over 23 states have medical marijuana laws. More and more states are making the testing mandatory. Yes, the legalization of it in more states would definitely help our business, but the fact is there's so many states out there right now already that have medical marijuana laws, and they're now starting to make testing mandatory, which is really what helps our business plan overall and for the big picture, because mandatory testing, it's inevitable. As I mentioned before, whether you're for cannabis or against cannabis, it needs to be tested, and you need to know what the end user is putting in their body.
David, that concludes our Q&A. Any last comments on Pazoo?
Yeah, when it comes to Pazoo, as I mentioned before, we have achieved 8 major milestones in just this year alone. But from Harris Lee having the first right of refusal to open up labs all around the country, to M&A Associates, our test lab in Las Vegas, to Cannabis Distribution, which is our distribution company for selling non-hemp related products. It's all coming together, and it's all underneath the Pazoo family. It's a great opportunity for the common shareholder. It's a great opportunity for a potential investor because you are getting in on the ground floor level of a great emerging market.